Tears of the Kingdom has been out for almost a year now, and a lot of people are probably thinking about jumping back into the game. Well, I want to help with that by providing you with some fun RPG or D&D style classes that you can use as inspiration to make your next playthrough a little more interesting. And then I'll take the classes through the Demon King's army and the boss rush to show you how they perform. Today we're talking about the Paladin class, and for this one we decided to make both light and dark variants. The Light Paladin wears level 3 Fierce Deity armor with level 2 Soldier's Greaves and a level 2 Sapphire Circlet, for a total of 32 armor, a little heat resistance, and a little attack up. The Light Paladin is the tankier of the two with 22 hearts and 1 3/5 wheels of stamina. For combat, he primarily uses one-handed weapons with a shield, no bows, no two-handed weapons, and no spears. The Light Paladin also has access to light magic in the form of Dazzle Fruit and some Light Dragon Reapers for self-healing. For aesthetic purposes, I like the Royal Broadsword with the Royal Shield or the White Sword of the Sky with the Radiant Shield. But it's not realistic to have a lot of those, so you can use whatever sword and shield combo you like. The Dark Paladin wears the full Phantom armor set, which isn't upgradable and provides a total of 24 armor and 3 levels of attack up. The Dark Paladin is the more offensive of the two with 18 hearts and 2 full wheels of stamina. For combat, he primarily uses two-handed weapons, no one-handed weapons, no spears, no shields, and no bows. The Dark Paladin also has access to dark magic in the form of Fire Fruit and some gloom weapons and Dinraal blades for a lot of extra damage. By the way, if you want to help me decide how to build these classes, you should consider coming to one of my YouTube streams. All of these classes are built during stream with the help of my viewers. Now that we've gone over the builds, let's see how they perform against the Demon King's army and the boss rush and see where each Paladin variant shines. For the Demon King's army, the Light Paladin was much safer, dealing quite a bit less damage but also being able to take a lot more hits due to having shields and higher armor. And he also had the utility of Dazzle Fruit for crowd control. But overall, the Dark Paladin was better for this stage due to the high damage weapons and the two-handed spin attack making quick work of the army. They performed equally against Colgera since neither of them have access to bows or the glide suit, so they both just dove through the weak points. The Dark Paladin performed much better against Marbled Goma since he can use two-handed spin attacks with his high damage weapons to chew through Goma's health bar. The Light Paladin performed much better against Queen Gibdo due to having access to Dazzle Fruit. The large AoE not only helped to stun the waves of normal Gibdos, but it also worked wonders to bring the Queen down when she's flying in phase 2. Without having that big AoE, the Dark Paladin had to get directly underneath Queen Gibdo while she's firing her sand laser so you can throw a Fire Fruit high enough to bring her down. The Light Paladin also performed slightly better against Mukdarok, mainly because neither of the classes had bows, so it was hard to stop Mukdarok from running away in phase 2. So instead, the Light Pally was able to take a few swings just before Muk started running away, whereas the Dark Paladin swings so slow that it was hard to land one hit before Muk ran away. The Dark Paladin performed much better against Seized Construct because the fire damage on the Dinraal blades allowed him to knock back the Construct with just 2 swings, making it very easy to push him into the walls. With the Light Paladin, you have to rely on one-handed spin attacks to push the Seized Construct back, which was a bit harder to do. The Light Paladin performed better against Phantom Ganon because the spin attacks come out much quicker so you can easily hit all of the Phantoms at the same time for big damage. Whereas the Dark Paladin's two-handed spin attacks are so slow that you would usually get hit while trying to start it up. The Light Paladin also performed slightly better against Ganondorf because his shield makes it much easier to survive the onslaught of Phantoms in Phase 2. With all of that considered, let's take a look at the boss rush viability tier list. I'd put the Light Paladin in the A tier. He does decent damage, is pretty survivable, and with the Dazzle Fruit, he has an answer for almost everything. He's really just being held back by not having bow access. The Dark Paladin I would put in B tier. He deals a lot of damage, but he's not nearly as survivable as the Light Pally, especially when using gloom weapons. And while he is being held back by no bow access just like the Light Paladin, the Dark Pally is also being held back a bit just by how slow his swing speed is. Remember that this isn't a multiplayer game, so there's no need for perfectly balanced classes. Think of the viability tier list as more of a difficulty indicator, letting you know that while the Dark Paladin is a fun class to play, it's a bit harder to take through the boss rush than the Light Paladin. If you decide to give either of these classes a try, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you don't like the way I've built these classes, or you just want to be a part of the decision-making process, then remember to check out my YouTube streams so you can help me build these classes like these lovely people did for the Paladins.